Welcome to MojoPlays, and today we're grabbing our comfort blankets to discuss the 10 most heartbreaking God of War moments.
You cannot change. You will always be a monster.
Kratos may be able to kill anything and anyone, but his life has been surrounded by tragedy. For this list, we'll be highlighting the most somber moments in the God of War's life. That means major spoilers lie ahead. Which of these moments did you find the most tragic? Share your thoughts in the comments. Before we begin, we publish new content all week long, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. Orcos' death, God of War Ascension.
There is no other way, Spartan. Destroy the Oath. Kill Ares. Have your revenge.
Kratos' lifestyle doesn't leave room for many friends, and that's especially the case in the Greek games. In the prequel, Ascension, however, he did form a bond with Orcos. In the game, Kratos is tortured by the Furies for renouncing Ares. Orcos feels guilt over his father tricking Kratos to murder his own family, and so works to help him escape. Since the series usually consists of selfish gods and hateful monsters, Orcos' friendship was a nice surprise. But of course, with this series, we can't ever have anything nice.
For you to be free, I must die by your hand.
Although Kratos makes it out, since Orcos is the oath keeper between him and Ares, the ghost of Sparta will never be free while he lives. Orcos begs for his own kind of freedom, and Kratos sadly obliges.
With the death of Orcos, the blood oath to Ares was finally broken.
Fenrir's soul, God of War Ragnarok.
It's okay, boy.
Alright, whose idea was it to open Ragnarok with a boy losing his pup? When the sequel begins, we have enough to worry about, what with the upcoming apocalypse and Freya out for blood. But at some point in between games, Atreus adopted a wolf and named him Fenrir. Naturally, being the animal lover he is, Atreus grew pretty close to him. And that's what makes their goodbye hurt so much.
You're okay. I know. I missed you too.
Only a few minutes into the game, and we see that Fenrir is too sick to even eat. The two share some final moments, and the wolf breathes his last. The moment is lightened a bit since Fenrir's soul returns in the body of Garm later, but man, this was a rough start. Pandora's Fate, God of War 3.
Created from the very heart of the flame, the key took on a life of its own. Pandora.
The smith god Hephaestus created his own daughter as a key to open Pandora's box, the famous artifact rumored to bring on the end of the world. And through a lot of awful actions, Zeus kidnapped her and stole the box out of fear. Unfortunately for him, Kratos is an unstoppable force. The God of War would eventually find Pandora in Olympus, and while their partnership was in the midst of an all-out destruction, we couldn't help but feel some warmth between them.
Hephaestus did what every father should do. Protect his child.
Perhaps it was the death of his own daughter, Calliope, that led to Kratos feeling something for this child. Regardless, she would end up sacrificing herself so he could stop Zeus. And she definitely deserved better. Athena's accidental death, God of War 2.
You are compelled to do the same. No son should destroy his own father.
In the early days, vengeance blinded Kratos to a lot of things, even where he was aiming his sword. In God of War 2, Kratos was betrayed by his father Zeus, who ran him through with the blade of Olympus. But he's never been one to let death stop him. Kratos escaped the underworld and used the Loom of Fate to return to this exact moment and kill Zeus himself. He would have achieved his goal if not for Athena, who threw herself in front of the God of Thunder, exchanging her life for his.
Stop! Athena! No!
She had been a reliable ally throughout the first two games, and seeing Kratos accidentally take her life was devastating at the time.
If all on Olympus will deny me my vengeance, then all on Olympus will die.
Atreus remains. God of War Ragnarok.
I've got to find them. I think I know where to look, but they're my responsibility.
One of the strongest elements of the Norse duology is the bond between Kratos and his son Atreus. Although their journey together wasn't without some obvious bumps, the two came out the other end all the stronger. But Ragnarok still had one last gut punch to land. And land it most certainly did. After Odin was defeated, Atreus' next step was clear: to scour the realms searching for any remaining giants. However, that was a personal journey, which meant he'd be leaving his poor father behind. In an exceptionally bittersweet moment, Kratos stated that while Loki would go, Atreus would remain. The moment itself was sad, but we were also proud of Kratos for how much he'd grown. A Mother's Love, God of War, Ghost of Sparta.
Your father brought me here. I have waited so long.
Over the course of his blood-stained life, Kratos has known his fair share of family woes. While Ghost of Sparta concluded on the tragic death of his brother Deimos, we believe the sadder fatality occurred earlier. Set after the first game, it chronicles Kratos' origins. At one point, he ventures into Atlantis, where he finds his mother, Callisto. When she attempts to tell Kratos about his brother, a curse placed on her triggers, and she's transformed into a mighty, mindless monster. Kratos is then forced to fight her or die, and he does what he must. As she lays dying in his arms, she thanks him for finally bringing her peace.
Finally, I am free.
The Birth of the Ghost, God of War.
The path before Kratos was clear, but still, the memories came rushing back, as familiar and permanent as the blades chained to his wrists.
You can't talk about tragedy and God of War without bringing up the inciting incident to Kratos' mental torture. Growing up, he had dreams of being a Spartan warrior, but surpassed all expectations by becoming a general and Ares' most capable fighter. The God of War turned Kratos into a weapon, creating the Blades of Chaos and burning their chains into Kratos' forearms. Sadly, Ares saw the warrior's wife and child as a weakness.
A cruel trick orchestrated by the God of War.
My wife, my child, how?
He told Kratos to attack a city loyal to Athena and tricked him into murdering his family. After Kratos realized what he had done, the city's oracle laid a curse upon him to forever carry with him the ashes of his slain loved ones.
And with that curse, all would know him for the beast he had become, his skin white with the ash of his dead family.
The Blades reveal, God of War.
Atreus.
You have to get into Freya quickly. There's no other way.
Kratos has wielded many different weapons, but the Blades of Chaos are perhaps his most iconic. When the Norse series began, they were nowhere to be seen. However, at a certain point in the 2018 story, Atreus gets sick, prompting Kratos to venture into Helheim for something that will save him. With his ice-infused battle axe being all but worthless there, he travels back home to reveal he's kept the blades all this time. Accompanied by Athena's spirit chastising him, the moment is both subtle and monumental.
Put as much distance between you and the truth as you want. It changes nothing.
It signaled Kratos putting everything on the line for his son, no matter the amount of pain confronting his past brought. This scene is made even sadder when you know what it meant to actor Christopher Judge.
I know.
Pushing Calliope Away, God of War, Chains of Olympus.
The Olympians need you. They slumber at the hand of Morpheus.
I have faithfully served the gods, yet they do not give me what I ask.
Clearly, one of the most traumatic moments in Kratos' life was being forced to unknowingly murder his wife and child. So, a moment where he's reunited with his daughter only to give her up for the greater good? Yeah, it's pretty brutal. Also set before the events of the first game, Chains of Olympus sees Kratos journey to the underworld in search of a missing Helios. There, Queen Persephone tells him he can live happily with his daughter Calliope as long as he gives up his powers. It's a pretty easy decision for Kratos to make, but when he learns Persephone's plans will decimate all souls of the underworld, he must abandon his daughter.
Father, please!
Sony didn't make it easy either. You have to mash a button to push her away while she continuously tries to cling to your leg.
Father, no!
At that moment, Kratos knew his destiny was not with Calliope. The fates were never that kind.
Brok's death. God of War Ragnarok.
I'm talking to you! You never shut up!
All the things,
Odin.
With their vastly different personalities, the Dwarven brothers Brok and Sindri quickly became a great addition to the series. And then Odin had to ruin everything. The All-Father masqueraded as Tyr for the majority of the game, but when Brok began to question him, the imposter snapped and stabbed the blacksmith in a rage. Although Freya tried her best to save him, the damage was done, and Brok passed in his brother's arms.
you can't. Maybe if I go back to the lake.
Stop me.
The scene would be sad on its own, but paired with the fact that Brok's soul wasn't whole and therefore couldn't enter the afterlife, it's downright painful. Only the most steadfast of players can make it through his post-game funeral with dry eyes.